So what is a major cause of our suffering? And what is a major cause of our suffering that might absolutely surprise you? Welcome to David Essel Live, helping Americans and the world heal, the number one podcast on positivity, success, moving you to the place that you'd really like to be in life. And thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you share these podcasts so more and more people can get this information for free, for God's sake, right? But what is the cause or a major cause of suffering? Many people will look outside of themselves, right? And say, well, it's the economy, it's my partner, it's my parents, it's my kids, it's my job, it's my boss, it's my whatever, right? It's like the major cause of suffering is never me. How does that sound to you? Doesn't that sound great? I mean, wouldn't it be awesome if the major cause of suffering had nothing to do with you and me? Wouldn't it be amazing if the major cause of suffering had nothing to do with our thoughts about ourselves or our thoughts about our current situation? Wouldn't it be incredible if the suffering really was caused by outside forces and there's nothing we can do about it? But unfortunately, when I tell you the truth of what the major cause or one of the major causes of our suffering are, it could really surprise you. And I'm going to tap into Buddha. His second tenet says it all. If you want to study Buddhism, I highly recommend it, just like any religion that you want to study. But Buddhism resonates very deeply with me and millions upon millions of other people because of the logic behind it. And what Buddha says is this, is that our suffering is caused by our desire. Now listen closely. Our suffering is caused by our desire that life should be different than it is right now. Hold your horses. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Our suffering is caused by our desire that life should be different than it is. In other words, it's the exact opposite of accepting life as life presents itself, right? It's like in recovery. Oh my God, we've been teaching recovery for over 30 years now. We tell people it's all about acceptance. The first step is you can't blame genetics for your addiction to alcohol, for God's sake. It's you. I can't blame my genetics for my addiction to alcohol. It's me. My suffering back then was caused by my desire that my business grow faster, that I don't feel down in the dumps at times when I do, that my whoever I was dating at the time would be a better partner, whatever, right? Like I was projecting blame and blame and blame and not saying, could it have anything to do with me? What about, let me go back to Buddha's statement because it's so deep. It is so incredibly logical, but it's very deep. Our suffering is caused by our desire that life should be different than it is. Think about that. Like, I shouldn't have this addiction. I shouldn't be overweight. I shouldn't have this struggle with my children. I shouldn't. Instead of, wow, I'm overweight. What do I need to do about it? Wow. I have a huge struggle with my children. What do I need to do about it? Wow. I have a huge struggle at work. Whatever it is, our suffering is caused by our desire that life be different than it is. And so the flip of that would be acceptance. I accept it, and this is what I had to do with my addictions, right? I accept the fact that I'm an alcoholic. I have been one for 30 years. I need help. That's the solution to suffering. That's the solution right there. Our suffering is caused by our desire that life be different than it is. All of our wishing, wanting, hoping in the world will not do a thing until we come to number one, acceptance. And then number two, what can I do about it now? Our suffering is caused by our desire that life be different than it is, but it isn't different. You're in traffic and you're saying this shouldn't be this way. I've got 15 minutes to make this appointment. Our suffering is caused by our desire that there is no traffic. What control do you have over that traffic? Our suffering is caused by our desire that there be no inflation. What type of control do you have over inflation? In other words, Buddha was more brilliant than anyone I could ever imagine when he came up with this whole thing about suffering, because now it's on us. And now we say, I'm sitting in traffic and I'm suffering. I'm mad. I'm frustrated because there's an accident and I'm going to be late. Ooh, the acceptance would be, I'm sitting in traffic. I'm frustrated. I'm going to be late. Let me let it go. There's nothing I can do about it. Let me let it go. There's nothing I can do. Now we come to acceptance. But the second part of that would be if you weren't stuck in traffic and you could do something about it, then of course the next step is do something. Hey, if I can help you at all, go to talkdavid.com. We have 3 books absolutely free to help you get out of all your suffering. Go to talkdavid.com right now and get those 3 books absolutely free. They will lift your raise, your spirits, your energies, everything that you can imagine. And then if you want to have a free session with me, 20 minutes on the phone to help you get out of suffering and into something magnificent, a brand new life, oh my God, book yourself right on the website, talkdavid.com. You've been listening to the most positive podcast on the planet, David Essel Alive, helping Americans and the world to heal, right on buzzsprouts.com. And remember, we're here for one reason only. It's all about lifting you up and feeling good with David Essel. Until we meet again, have an incredible day. Share these messages. Do the work. Make your life the life that you've always wanted it to be. And I am in your corner from this second forward. If you need me, reach me. And I hope you have an awesome day. Talk to you soon.